But I think once we figure out what our purpose is, it takes a lot of pressure off. Because if you recognize like, okay, I'm around a lot of visionaries, but I'm not a visionary, that's okay.
Yeah.
Or I'm a person that's really good at this and the people around me are really good at something else. That's okay. Finding that purpose can guide you to where you're supposed to go. And then that is when you're productive.
And I want to understand,
Yes.
how did you come up with the name Now for F.O.U.R. today?
So now for today, I'm a strong believer in knowing that today is what we have and that's what we have to focus on. For me, I had to realize, okay, I can't worry about tomorrow. I can't think about yesterday. I can't worry about what I missed. I can't worry about what the possibilities are. A lot of people helped me along the way.
Right.
And I want to put myself in a position to, if I meet someone that is 17, 18, 19, and they don't know if they want to go to college, they don't know if they want to do a trade, and they feel like they can't do anything, to equip them with some basic skills, whether that's emailing, figuring out how to do a resume, figuring out how to do some of these admin tasks that are very, very simple. So where if they need to have a side hustle or create their own business, they're equipped to feel like I can do something today.
Now for Today Boutique.
Yes.
When did you start that? All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of The Serial Entrepreneur. Today's guest is Faith Miller. And Faith has a business called Now for F.O.U.R. Today Boutique.
That's it.
Yes. So I've spent some time on Faith's website. I am very much looking forward to learning more, Faith, about your business and how you how you got started and your primary motivators and things like that. But before we dive into the business side of things, tell me a little bit about Faith Miller. So Faith Miller, where were you born and raised, and what? Tell me a little bit about your upbringing. What prompted you to go on and start your own business?
Yeah. So I was born and raised here in Louisville, but grew up quite a bit back and forth between Shelbyville and Louisville.
Okay.
I'm from a family of fun people. So we like to have fun. We like to do all of the fun things, but they're also extremely productive people.
Okay.
So with that, I grew up with movers and shakers.
All right.
I grew up with a family of attorneys that were very tooth and nail about what they did.
Okay.
And then I realized in middle school, I didn't want to do that. I loved it for them, but I was like, I don't think I want to go in this direction, but I still really, really enjoyed being productive. I enjoyed seeing them be productive and seeing how much of a powerhouse they were. So after that, I kind of went down my own different ways of my own productivity, which was sales and admin professionally. And I learned during that time, okay, I want to be an equipper. I want to be a person that equips other people as well. So between planting things and growing them and seeing people grow, it was like, okay, I want to see people grow just like I see my hobby of plants grow. So that's kind of a little bit about me so far.
Okay. So any siblings?
Yes, I'm the youngest of four.
Youngest of four. Okay. Did your siblings follow in your parents' footsteps, or did they go off and do their own thing like you, or what would they do?
Yeah, so one of them did.
Okay.
Another one went in the legal, two of them went down the legal background. One is a practicing attorney, and the other one went to the military. So
Okay. Well,
we did some different things.
Well, what does Faith Miller, besides helping people be productive and effective in everyday life, what do you like to do for fun?
For fun. Okay, so I'm a plant girl. I love planting things.
Okay.
And I'm an avid biker. Okay, so got into it a couple years ago and realized it was so amazing, not only for sightseeing, tried the running thing, and Jason, I don't like to run, but I like the speed. I like the speed. So biking was the best of the speed and being able to wind down and relax that way.
So biking. So tell me, what kind of bike? Like road bike, mountain bike?
Road biking.
Biking.
Mountain biking, it looks cool, a little too rugged for me. It's not something that I think I'm going to venture into.
Yeah, I've done it a few times, mostly in my college years, and every time I went, I seem to walk away hurt in some capacity.
Yes.
There's lots of roots and rocks and trees and everything else. But road bikes, though, you got to watch out for the cars. So where do you typically ride?
That's true. Beckley Park. Okay. So there are cars, but there are some routes that are a little bit smaller. And if you go early in the morning, you're fine. You're fine.
Okay. Longest ever bike ride?
Hear me out. Only 15 miles.
15 months. Okay.
Only
Hey,
15
hey, that's
months.
fine.
It's for fun.
Okay.
It's for fun.
For fun. All
Yeah.
right. So now for boutique. No, I'm sorry. Now, what is it?
Now for today.
I knew I was 4 words. I knew I missed a word. Now for today boutique.
Yes.
When did you start that?
Officially this year is when I started it.
That's
yes.
exciting.
Yeah. So it's been a work in progress. One of those things that was, for me, I really need to focus and do what I'm supposed to do. So I can't run from what this was supposed to be. So I started that seriously this year.
Okay. And you mentioned you had some professional experience in the area of sales and administrative.
Yes.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about that. What were you doing?
Yeah, so that started early on. I was one of those people that had to work during college, and not like a little cutesy work. I had to work full time as I wanted to finish school full time as well.
Okay.
So doing that is when admin really started for me. Had a summer job here and there when I was in high school that consisted of just baseline admin clerk work. And then after that, I was able to work in a firm as an executive assistant. So from there, I really enjoyed it, but I still needed a little bit more, Jason. So I did a side hustle. So that side hustle was virtual assisting, and then that became personal assisting. So I had all of the assisting things.
Yeah.
After graduating college, a friend of mine mentioned sales, and I was like, me? My friend recognized that I had a few transferable skills.
Yeah.
And I started out at the most rugged sales experience, a car dealership.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
Okay. I've sold cars.
Yes.
I've sold cars in my lifetime.
Car dealership. So that was in what was the start of tech sales for me. So the floating bubble that's at the bottom of the screen, sometimes those are real people. And it was so long ago that I was a real person trying to get people to come into the dealership. So from there, that transitioned for quite a few years into continuing in the tech space. So from that, what felt like drinking water out of a fire hose at the dealership became tech sales. So that was a remote, that was selling technology from healthcare to SaaS. So from there, it was a bunch of transferable skills that got me there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Curious. So what kind of cars did you, was it a used car dealership? New car?
It was a Chevy dealership.
Chevy dealership. Okay. Interesting. I sold cars.
Yeah.
For probably about a year and a half, I think is what it was, for Enterprise.
Works there too.
Enterprise rent a car, but they have Enterprise car sales, and
Sure do.
and it was a good. I mean, like I said, I don't love, you get the whole stigma of like, or the negative, all the negative things that you hear
Sure.
about. Oh, used car salesman,
Yes.
but honestly and truly, it was great experience.
Yes.
It's a great experience. And, anytime you have an opportunity to interact and deal with people and try to help them, solve problems and fill a need, you're going to learn something
For sure.
along the way. I think the job that prepared me most for that was when I was serving tables at Cracker Barrel in college. That was a fun one.
Tough skin.
That was a tough one. Yeah. I was not the best server in the world, but I gave it my all.
That's all that counts.
So you started your business this year. How's it going?
It's very new. It's going well. Finally, I feel like I'm in purpose. There's a difference to me in between being productive and following the purpose that you're supposed to follow. And all of these years doing different, whether it's consulting work or different occupations, I realized that it's time to buckle down and follow the purpose that I'm supposed to be in, which is this. So it feels refreshing. It's encouraging as well because I wake up every day knowing that finally I'm not running from the calling that I was supposed to fulfill. So it's an exciting time.
Have you ever heard of the book, Who Not How?
No.
I'm going to encourage you to pick up that book and read that book. Or if you're like me, I listen to it on Audible. But Who Not How is, everything you're describing. Like, so for me, as someone that has run multiple businesses at one time, really what that book has helped me discover is like, I've been working in a lot of areas where I don't really particularly like working, just because there are things that have to be done. I mean, it's things that have to be done when you own a business and you're starting out and it's just you.
Yes.
Everything has to get done. But I've really, just as of recent, figured out like, man, I'm really holding my businesses back because I'm not finding the right who's to fill the roles that I don't want to do. And like I said before we came on air and we were talking, I mean, I was on your website and I was reading through all of your scripts as far as all the different services that you have and offer. And, I actually just put together a job posting last week for an executive assistant.
Wow.
And, and I was, but again, even that is difficult for me because I can't I'm having a hard time really articulating everything that I need or want done by an executive assistant. And I know that I'm setting I'm setting them up for failure and I'm setting me up for disappointment if I don't do a good job, articulating what it is that I want done.
Absolutely.
So, I'm not the best at hiring people, or finding people necessarily.
Sure.
My strengths are really just dreaming up ideas and finding solutions and like looking for gaps in marketplaces and creating solutions to fill those gaps. And then there you go, you have another business.
Right.
And then my other strength is really like rallying people, like I'm a galvanizer, rallying people around the effort. But all the other stuff, not exactly an area of strength for me. And I was looking at all the different services that you offer. So is your business, is it just you or do you have?
Yes. So right now it is just me, but there are 2 prospects that I would hope to one day hire.
Okay.
So that's where we're going in the future. But now it's a one-woman show rather.
One-woman show. Okay. Cause I mean, I was looking at that list and I'm sitting there and I'm going, okay, well, at some point, depending on how many customers you have and what they're calling for, that could, I mean, you're going to have to expand quickly and you're going to have to find a lot more who's like you to really, execute on all those things. So,
Sure.
As far as, I guess, what are you doing to get the word out? How are you sharing? What?
Of course, that social media, same thing for Today Boutique on social media and my site. A lot has been a word of mouth because of the environments that I've started in, which was in the church sphere.
Okay.
It's been like, hey, did you know that she does this? Which was another part of that thing that I felt like I was running from for a long time, being a little bit nervous to put it out there. But it's one of those things where you recognize when you're talking about your strengths and weaknesses, it is, for me, I'm a little bit of the opposite. So I like having people together for a purpose of figuring out, okay, this is the problem. Let's figure it out. So the nuts and bolts, the nitty gritty of things, I like figuring out what the problem is and then figuring out a plan to fix that problem. And I feel like if we can, in any situation, create a way that there is a model, we can tweak the model based off of the problem, or we can break it down so granular that we can identify, what this problem is and then how to fix it. So that was something that it was like, okay, I've been solving a lot of problems, so let's make this into one big thing and figure out whether it's someone like you or someone else, let's figure out how to make these problems an actionable name. And then let's call it something and get to solving the problems for people.
Let's talk about the name because it's interesting.
Ready.
And I want to understand, how did you come up with the name Now for F.O.U.R?
Yes, F.O.U.R.
Yeah. Today Boutique.
Yes. Okay. So a much less lighthearted moment. So there were 2 times in my life that I experienced crippling anxiety that led to depression. One of those times was around the end of high school going into college. And another one was fairly recently, about 2.5 years ago. Both of those were off the backs of extreme loss. So I lost at that time a couple of family members and a close friend. And then I didn't deal with it properly. And that became a whirlwind of just waking up every single day like a robot almost, getting the task done, going to school, going to work, going to school, going to work. And I didn't realize until I literally was crippled by anxiety that I needed to pause and focus on that day. And I created this process at the time that I didn't know was a process of literally getting through the day. I had to wake up and think about eating that day, wake up and thinking about getting ready for the day. And sometimes the victory was literally getting out of bed. Fast forward nearly a decade and a half later, I'm hit with the same anxiety and crippling depression. I lost a close family member that was like a stepdad to me, and one of my best friends 14 hours apart, completely unexpectedly. And at that time, I am, as my dad would say, moving and grooving. I'm doing my sales thing. I'm not sleeping or eating well before this. So that happened, and it was like God's, hey, slow down.
Yeah.
At that time, I went back because I had felt that feeling before. I'd felt the anxiety before. I'd felt the depression before, and I had felt that busy before. So I went back to focus on the day. Okay, I've got to focus on today.
Gotcha.
I can't go back to not getting out of bed, not eating. Okay, I know today has enough trouble of its own.
Right.
I know that things will work together for my good. That has nothing to do with me, but I have to figure out what I'm going to do today. So I came up with 4 things that I did. So I focused, which is the F. So I focused on what mattered. I then created order for my day. At that time, it was so granular, like wake up, brush your teeth, eat.
Okay.
After that, I understood what I was feeling and like what my goals were. And then I revisited the things for growth. So when I tell you I was growing, Jason, I was growing from, okay, today I got out of the bed and I walked for a little bit. Okay, I did this. I talked to someone on the phone today. I didn't cry. So that was my process that I walked through. So
that's so focus, order,
yes,
understanding,
yes,
and repeating.
Revisit.
Okay.
For growth, ultimately.
Revisit for growth. Okay.
Yes.
So that's how you came up with F.O.U.R.
Yes.
F.O.U.R. Okay.
Yes. So the now for today, those are the 4 points that I utilize in the business. So now for today, I'm a strong believer in knowing that today is what we have, and that's what we have to focus on. For me, I had to realize, okay, now for today. I can't worry about tomorrow. I can't think about yesterday. I can't worry about what I missed. I can't worry about what the possibilities are. Okay, now for today. So that translated to a professional sense. So
now for today.
Yes.
Now for today.
Yes.
And then you just throw the boutique on me.
Boutique. Yeah, that is a curated experience. I love the feel of a boutique. You may find 2 or 3 of the same pieces, but you typically don't.
Yeah.
And there's so many different knickknacks in a boutique. So with this experience, I wanted a person, this isn't your virtual assistant service. This isn't a call service where you just call in and get tasks done. I want each person that comes in contact with Now for Today to feel like that boutique experience, to feel that it's curated for them, it's special, it's warm. So that's where the boutique part came from.
Well, that's really, really cool. And so you came up with the name, you're getting going,
Yes.
you're getting the word out, you're starting to do some networking. And what do you think your capacity is? What do you think your capacity is for someone that wants to work with you? How do you work that if I've got an executive assistant role and we define what that role looks like, right? Mm-hmm. And we determine that that's 20 hours a week, you can only have so many 20-hour week
right.
Opportunities before you better get on the horn with those other 2.
Yes.
Right. So
yes.
that's, that's interesting just thinking through, because I'm really focused on, I'm thinking a lot these days about how to scale
right.
my businesses effectively.
Mm-hmm.
And with what you're doing, it's going to require you obviously to scale and find a bunch more who's, right? And
Yes.
and another thing that when you were talking that made me think, something that I've started to do that I thought I'd share with you that has proved to be pretty effective for me. And this is fairly recent that I started doing this, but I've been journaling in the morning, like my quiet time. I'll get in the Word, I'll focus on some scripture, and then I'll spend a few minutes just journaling a page about what I feel like God was kind of teaching me in that moment, and really how I want to apply that in my life. And that's usually how I start my day. But I've started ending my day.
Yes.
Instead of flipping on a TV or staring at the phone or staring at a computer screen. Instead of doing that before bed, kind of zoning out that way, I've started journaling right before bed as well. And what I'm focusing on is, what are 3 wins? What are 3 wins for today?
Yes.
3 wins for today that I can celebrate. And again, they don't have to be huge wins.
Right.
Right. So, but let's focus on 3 wins. If I had 3 wins for today, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'd say so. If you have 3 wins every day over the course of a year, you've
That's
got
a lot.
you've got over 1,000 wins.
You do.
in a year, right? So, if my math's right, yeah.
Yeah.
You do. Okay, so, but then the other thing that I will track is 3 goals for tomorrow. So I start setting my mind on, what does my day look like tomorrow? And what are the things that I want to try and accomplish tomorrow? And it's not like this long list of things, right? That's going to overwhelm you. And, my wife uses stress paralyzed, stress paralyzed here, or, it's just, I got so much on the list. I can't
think about it.
Can't get anything done because
Yes.
I'm stress paralyzed about all the things that are on my list. So,
Right.
Let's focus on 3 things that can be our wins tomorrow, and really documenting that process. So I don't know if that's helpful or not, but that's something that has it's been helpful to me.
I love it. It's funny you say that. I talk about running a lot. I ran away from this for a long time.
I know we've talked a lot about shoes in your you had a lot of questions about running shoes and what shoes to go with.
Yes. This actually, a few years back, I did a 4 Today journal, which was reflective. You can find it if you want to find it at Barnes & Noble or Walmart. You can. But it broke down 4 points where you could reflect if you didn't have the strength during that time, those dark times. I journal now, but for different reasons. I also wanted to track what was going well so I could look back on it and see the progress for myself. So in that journal, it breaks down some things as far as what did you learn today? Because for me, I felt like if I could keep my eyes on something that I would learn, it would encourage me. So whether that was meeting somebody and they taught me something interesting about food, that was something that would encourage me for the next day. So with that 4 Today journal, it took time to just slow down and refocus, then look back on what I either did that day to say, wow, I had a win today. And I also learned something today too. So that will be part of the boutique as well. Things like that will be part of the boutique as well.
So you said 4 Today. Is this something you created, or is this something that?
Yeah, I created it. I created it about 3 years ago.
Okay.
And used it for myself, and then promoted it a little bit, and then it kind of just stayed there. So yeah, if you want to look it up, it's in Barnes & Noble or Walmart.
Huh.
Yeah, online.
Online. Okay, that's interesting. So is it like a guided?
Yeah, it's a
journal?
It's a guided journal.
Guided journal. That's interesting.
Yeah. So that boutique part where you go in and you find different things for productivity. I want to make sure that people are not so focused on the task list, but seeing like, okay, was my day full of purpose? Because you can complete 50 tasks in a day and turn around and look at the day and say, I didn't get anything that I really needed to get done.
Right.
But I cleaned my kitchen for an hour and I walked the dog. So wanted to help people do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. I'm actually in a space right now where back in 2017, I journaled for the entire year through the book of Proverbs. And
Love it.
I did that with the mindset of, if something ever happened to me, I wanted to be able to leave something to my children, which they were quite a bit younger then than they are now.
Yeah.
But to leave something behind for them, like just, obviously the book of Proverbs is chock full of wisdom.
Yes.
And then, what I would do is whatever day of the month it was, if it was the first of the month, I'd read the first chapter. If it was the 15th of the month, I'd read the 15th chapter. And then whatever verse jumped off the page at me on that particular day, that would be the one that I would just sit there and meditate on. And I would just be like, God, what do you want to teach me through this verse? And I would journal like a kind of a today's lesson.
Yeah.
And then provide a little guided prayer through that lesson. And it's really interesting. Actually, just in the last week, I've kind of had another little fire lit under me. It's like, man, I want to like get this out there.
Yes.
I want to get this out there for other people, but I didn't have any idea. I didn't have a who. I didn't have any idea where to start to even, begin that process. So I actually just recently got connected with someone that's a publisher that, is kind of guiding me through that process. So
that's awesome.
It's interesting. So how did you like get there?
Yeah.
What was your path? How did you?
Yeah. So long ago, I participated in pageantry, and there was a person. Now, funny enough, I think that everything we do is a stepping stone to the next thing. So I know that, the Lord has purpose in everything. There's a purpose for everything. So believe it or not, one of the ladies who worked in the service department at that Chevy dealer wanted me to be a part of pageants. And I'm like, I am 5'1.5". How is this going to work? She knew bits and pieces of my story. And in pageantry, there are so many deep stories that it's way more than, oh, I'm pretty, I'm walking across the stage. So she saw that story could be something that could speak to other younger people.
Yeah.
So I decided to compete. I didn't know that my first pageant was a state pageant at the time, and ended up getting second place in it. I didn't even know what the titles were. I didn't know what this was. So my little team is in the corner and they're like, that's you, go up, go up, go up. So from that, she also writes, she still does, books.
Okay.
And she had a connection where she was like, okay, I know a book is in you. Have you ever thought about it? Yes, I had, but I was too nervous at the time to begin doing anything. So at that time, she connected me with her publisher, and what was supposed to be a book, I turned into a journal.
Okay.
So that book, will be for a later time. But with that, we talked and walked through that, and I was really passionate about people going through the same steps that helped me in such a low point. And then it was published that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you can find that on Walmart.com?
Yes, Walmart.com or Barnes & Noble.
BarnesandNoble.com. Well, good for you. That's awesome. Just learning so much.
I know.
Learning so much about you today.
Yeah.
So someone wants to get going with you, or is interested more, to find out more about your services and everything that you offer. What's next steps for someone look like?
Yeah, I would definitely go to the site. The site is the home for everything. So nowfortoday.com. And from there, you can look
now, F.O.U.R.
F.O.U.R. today.com.
Yeah, okay.
They can look through and see what support they need. But a lot of times I recognize people don't know.
Yeah.
So the target avatar, if you will, they don't know what they need. They just know that they have a lot to get done, and they don't even know how to figure that out. Totally fine. I do have a call that you can get on to figure out how we can narrow down what the needs are, if that's something that the person needs. And then from there, we'll kind of do some questionnaires to figure out what support. But the website, for sure.
I saw on your website, speaking of the website, I saw on your website that kind of a spinoff of, one of the things that you're passionate about is mentoring young people.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that.
That is my passion. Of course, helping people is the thing for me, but the opportunities that I was provided very young, I recognized, a lot of people don't have that exposure, and I can count it as a blessing to have that exposure. But a lot of things, if there is an opportunity to be taught something, you can learn something new all day. So I had the passion to recognize, okay, I want to help people. A lot of people helped me along the way.
Right.
And I want to put myself in a position to, if I meet someone that is 17, 18, 19, and they don't know if they want to go to college, they don't know if they want to do a trade, and they feel like they can't do anything, to equip them with some basic skills, whether that's emailing, figuring out how to do a resume, figuring out how to do some of these admin tasks that are very, very simple, to where if they need to have a side hustle or create their own business, they're equipped to feel like, I can do something today. And then they can, very much like me, have those transferable skills to grow and expand. I did quite a bit of mentoring in the tech space as well, just because I think it's under 3%. Now, hopefully it's more of people of color in the tech space at all. So that was one of the same passions, to figure out people who are young, give them small transferable skills that they can learn and grow on their own, and then put them back on the path that they're supposed to. So that's a mentorship part of For Today too.
Is that more of a give back, or is that still part of the overall business and income strategy?
That's a give back.
That's a give back.
That's a give back. Down the road, we don't know what that'll look like.
Okay.
But for now, it's a give back because it was given to me. It was freely given to me. So it's one of those things that, okay, if we have to revisit that down the road, then sure. But for now, it's free to those. I don't want to call them kids because, 17 to 20-ish.
Yeah. Well, I've got a 17-year-old that's in that boat right now. She's a senior in high school, and not real sure if college is her path or if she wants to pursue something in the, something else.
Yeah.
And I said, yes, I don't want to sound like I'm against college, but
Sure.
College is not for everyone. And there's a lot of things that, I did learn some things in college, but at the end of the day, in the business world, you really learn, getting in the middle of everything, rolling your sleeves up and just doing the work.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
right.
But, well, is there anything else regarding the business that we haven't talked about that you may want to let our audience know about your business?
About the business, I would say that I've said it a couple of times, as far as productivity is much less about perfection, but purpose. So if there's anything that, whether this comes across anyone, really getting down to the purpose, that's the nature of Now For Today, is recognizing or identifying what a person's purpose is on earth. I know that's like a huge thing. Like, it's like, wait, what is my purpose? But I think once we figure out what our purpose is, it takes a lot of pressure off. Because if you recognize, like, okay, I'm around a lot of visionaries, but I'm not a visionary, that's okay.
Yeah.
Or I'm a person that's really good at this, and the people around me are really good at something else. That's okay. So finding that purpose can guide you to where you're supposed to go, and then that is when you're productive, not when you can cross a bunch of things off of a list just pushing through every single day. So that's the most important thing.
Well, that's great advice. That is something that, I've been in a lot of books lately on productivity and entrepreneurship and scaling and this and that. And it's interesting because, like, in schooling, in the school system, we have all these different subjects, right? Like all these different subject matters, and we're supposed to be really smart and good at all of them.
All of them.
Every single one of them.
Yes.
We're supposed to make an A in every one of them, right? Well, some of those things I don't care about
At all.
and I'm not interested in.
Yes.
Right. And I'm not particularly good at it. And it's frustrating.
Yes.
And, and we teach our kids in school that if they collaborate with one of their classmates to accomplish a task, well, in the school system, that's labeled as cheating. And, and in business, that's just smart.
It's collaboration.
Yeah, it's collaboration, right? So it's funny. We've got a member here at Common Ground that's an educator in at the University of Louisville, and he and I always are going back and forth. And he's got the same. He agrees with me. But it's just like, man, it's so frustrating that we're really training and conditioning our children in the school system that they have to isolate themselves, meaning work alone, and they've got to be really good at everything. And that's depressing and frustrating, and creates a lot of anxiety for those that are high achievers, right? Necessarily, some maybe don't care if they get all A's, but some strive for that, right? So, that's so again, I love that you said that, and we'll kind of close out with that. But it's been awesome, really, just getting to learn more about your background, your story. I wish you a ton of success.
Thank you.
In your business as you are ramping it up. And if you are someone that is, moved by anything that Faith has said here on, today's podcast, I would encourage you to go to the Now for Today website, nowfortoday.com. And anyways, but thank you. Thank you for spending some time with me, and for, just being open and honest.
Yeah, thanks, Jason. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, cool.